everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog. This will be a weekly reading vlog. It is the final week of March and I'm through the TBR that I chose, so now I have to pick some other books to read. And I do still have my books wrapped because I did that for blindly choosing my TBR. And I also selected my books for April already, the same way, so that video should be out by now. So my TBR cart's over here because I don't want to give away what I chose for April, but I'm going to do the same thing this week and blindly choose the books I'm reading and hopefully I'm hoping 3 books at least off of the wrapped part of my cart. So I don't want to waste all this paper, so I'm trying to do what I can to make it justified. So that will be this week's vlog. I will be choosing the books one at a time because I don't know how many I'm going to get through this week. That'll just depend on what the cart gives me and how long the books are. So I did accurately manifest 4 of the 10 books that I chose for April, and I did get some longer ones, so there are a bunch of short romances still remaining, but with the way this whole system has been going for me, I probably won't get them. So without further ado, let's pick the first book. So if you haven't seen either of my TBR videos, I've numbered pieces of paper and I've numbered the books, and I'm just going to choose one piece of paper and that's going to tell me what book I'm reading. And book number 1 is 14. So book 14, just so you know, I'm not cheating. I think I know what this is. Oh no, I didn't, but I'm very excited for this. So I got Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. I've been wanting to read this since I picked it up in September. I just haven't got around to it, and the jar has not been kind to me the past 2 months for getting it. So I'm excited to read this. This is the last book I need to read in her backlog. I believe I've read every other book in her backlog, so before she comes out with another one and I'm behind again, I'm happy I get to read this one. So I think this is about, like, there's 2 crimes. So a baby is stolen and a woman is killed, and then 20 years later they're trying to connect the crimes because they think they could be connected some way or another. That's all I really know about this. That's all I really want to know about this going into it. So I'm gonna get started and I'll update you guys when I have something else to say. First update, I'm about a third of the way through the book. This is a very short book. It's like 304 pages, so I don't think it's gonna take me very long. But it took me about 50 pages to kind of figure out what was going on. So we have 4 characters and we're seeing the point of view from all of them. So we have Frankie, we have Patience, we have Cleo, and Edith. So we rotate between like all 4 of them within the chapters. Like each chapter is titled whoever we're following. And the murder was not who I thought it was going to be. So that's interesting. I don't know how that's going to play into this, but I have an idea of where we're going right now. So there's connections between all 4 of these characters that are slowly coming to light throughout each chapter. And I have a theory of what happens, because the first chapter is like present time, 20 years late, like the 20 years later present time. And I have a feeling I know what happens in that scenario. I have a theory. So if I'm right, that's going to kind of disappoint me because I would have figured that out like 2 pages in. But we'll see. Sometimes Alice Feeney just completely shocks me with how she ends it. I know where she's going and then I'm wrong. So far so good. I am done for today because I've read a lot today and I'm kind of tired. So I'm just gonna be lazy and watch some TV before I fall asleep. And I will continue reading this tomorrow and I'll update you guys when I do. So super quick update. I've got about 120 pages, I think, left. Yeah. So nothing else has really happened worth like sharing. Not that I'm sharing like details, but I think what I'm expecting to happen is what's actually going to happen because it still keeps kind of going in that direction, which will impact my rating of this book, unfortunately, if that's how it ends, because I kind of figured it out about a chapter in. But we'll see. I could be wrong. She could surprise me at the end. But I'm enjoying the story. Like, it's an interesting story. It's just, it's not as like thrillery as I would like it to be. It's not really like high stakes at this point. I wouldn't consider it high stakes for comparison to like some of Alice Feeney's other books. So we'll see. Interesting story, but not a full thriller vibe. But I will update when I'm done, and then we'll pick the second book. So I finished Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. Not my favorite book by her. I enjoyed the story, but I saw the ending coming a mile off. I was pretty much right about the entire ending, and the one little detail that I may have missed wasn't really that shocking. So, but not too bad. I'd say I'm like around a 3.25, 3.5 rating on it. I'm not exactly sure yet. But yeah, it's definitely not rock, paper, scissors level. But still an enjoyable story. Like, it was interesting. But time to pick the second book. So let's see what number I get this time. 9. Please hold. Number 9. This seems like a thick one. I don't know what this one is. Oh, okay. Another thriller though. So this is Stacey Abrams' book, Rogue Justice. It is like a legal thriller. I've never read one of her books. I think she only has, like, this might be the second one. But I found this at a bookstore. My sister found it at a bookstore and it's signed. So that's why I picked it up. But I have been wanting to read this, but we'll see if I like it or not. So don't know if I'll start this tonight because it's already kind of late, but I will update you guys tomorrow when I get home from work and have read a little bit of it. Hey everybody. It is Tuesday night now, and I started Rogue Justice this morning when I got, 76 pages in. So I did not read the dust jacket on this at all to really know what it's about. I just know it's a legal thriller. So far we have our main character Avery, I believe her name is. Yes, Avery. And the book kind of opens with her dealing with a case that she's involved in, that she's like the key witness, I don't know what to describe. Like, she didn't witness anything, but she did a lot of the investigation. So she's the one that like is being questioned the most in the trial. And it is an impeachment trial for the current president, who is being accused of like humanitarian crimes. And it obviously puts her in the spotlight, and not in necessarily a good way. So it opens with a little bit of that, and then it jumps into something different. I'm still not exactly sure where it's gonna go, but it's like they're unearthing this other like huge, potentially disastrous plot against important people in the government. And she's kind of unintentionally getting involved in it in a very like centralized way, and she doesn't really understand what's happening yet. And I don't really understand what's happening yet. So that's where we are. I'm gonna try to get a little bit more read tonight. I will update you all probably tomorrow. I don't think I'll do another update tonight, but I'll update tomorrow when I get home from work, and we'll see how far I am. It's Wednesday evening now, and I've got about 100 pages left, give or take a few. And it took about 100 pages to get into this story, I would say. There's a lot of like legal jargon. There's a lot of people involved, and there's a lot of like different stories that are being followed. So it took me a little bit to get into it, but now that I'm in the last like third of the book, it's picked up and it's interesting. There's a lot of explaining the government and the different agencies and how they work and all of that. But the story itself is interesting. I don't love the main character. Like, I just don't feel connected with her. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to, because it's like a thriller, but she's just there. And there's a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of characters. So maybe that's why there's just too many other people for me to actually get enough time with her that I care about her. But it's interesting. I'm enjoying it more than I maybe thought I was at the first part of the book. So probably will finish this tonight. So if I do, you'll see me back tonight to pick book 3. If not, you'll see me tomorrow. So I finished Rogue Justice by Stacey Abrams. I enjoyed the story. It was definitely a lot faster towards like the second half, really the last third of the book. I'd have to say my biggest gripe with this book is that it just like over-explained everything. And every time you met a new character, regardless of how much they actually contributed to the story, you got like their entire background, like social security number, where they grew up, where they were born, like way too much information. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. So the story was interesting. It was very detailed, very like intricate, how it was like woven and what actually happened, and it was very interesting. And I like how the villain was portrayed and like what the whole reasoning behind that was. It was different because you felt bad for them, and I haven't felt bad for like the bad person in a thriller in a long time. So I enjoyed that. I'm probably around like a 3.5. It's probably very similar to how I rated Good Bad Girl. I enjoyed it, but definitely not like my favorite thriller. Definitely 2. This one was very much, like I said earlier, heavy on the acronyms and all the stuff that the government calls things, so that kind of took away from it for me. I get that it's a legal thriller, but I think there's a time and a place to use all of those. Like every agency you could imagine was involved in this, so it was a bit much. Okay, so next book. Do we think I'm gonna get a romance? Me neither. So there's like only 3 thrillers left, so my chances of getting one are like 1/5. 1/5 of a chance of getting a thriller. Am I probably gonna get one? Book 3, number 22. I have no idea what this is. I got a romance. Finally got a romance. This is Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. Single dad, nanny trope, and she's a runaway bride. What more do you need? So I'm excited for this one. One of my romance reveal books, and I have quite a few of them, so that's why I've been hoping to get them, because I want to get through some of them, and I finally got one. I'm gonna start this tonight because I have time, but I probably won't update you guys till tomorrow, so see you then. So I chose Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow last night for the 3rd book for this vlog, and I'm about 150 pages in, and it's cute. It's definitely like, I think, gonna get really spicy because it started quite early into the book. Like there's an instant attraction, I guess spice, but you know, pretty tame spice. Their thoughts though are kind of, you know, borderline. So it's really cute. I am liking the main female character a lot. The main male character is kind of grumpy, but I think I'll like him by the end. So essentially we have a runaway bride, finds out, okay, I'm not gonna say what happens, but she ends up leaving her wedding, like running away from her wedding, and she's in this town for the wedding and ends up getting this job to nanny for this guy whose sister was supposed to nanny for him, but ends up having to leave town for the summer. So live-in nanny. He's got like a bunch of siblings, the little sister, and I think 3 other brothers. So she's like meeting the family. He's super grumpy because he's got 2 twin kids and he's taking care of them their whole life because the mom's not really involved. And he just doesn't trust anybody with his kids, you know, typical single dad trope. I don't know. So single dad, and I guess forced proximity because she's gonna live in the house with them, but we'll see. I don't know why they keep sending me single dad books with this, because it's not a trope that I told them I liked, and it's not a trope I particularly like. But so far, this one's not too bad. The kids are not annoying, so it's working out so far. I will continue reading and may update again before I finish. I'm reading this pretty quickly, so I may finish it tonight. We'll see. Depends on how much reading I want to do, but I'll update when I've gone further. So I finished book number 3, Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. So basically what happened since the last time I updated was it just turned into like pretty heavy smut for most of the book. There wasn't like a lot of content in the middle except that. So it got a little deeper towards the end, and they were talking about like the reasons that they were closed off from each other and why they didn't think they could be an actual couple, and that they were just having fun. They didn't want anything serious. And then, you know, the 3rd act breakup was like really close to the end. So like the last 20 pages were pretty like heartwarming, but everything before that was literally just smut. But that's fine. Sometimes you need that. So just like a solid 3-star romance for me. If you've seen me rate romance novels before, you know that like a 3 is pretty standard for that. It takes a lot for me to rate a romance higher than that. So it was fun. I wanted to read a romance for a very long time. I think I read one book this month that was considered a romance, but it was like a thriller romance, so not like your fun, fluffy novel. So, and then the TBR for next month, really, I mean, it gave me a few, but not a lot. So I was excited to finally have a little bit of a palate cleanser. So I think I'm gonna pick one more book for this vlog. So it is now Thursday night, and I do have a long weekend because it is Easter weekend, so I do have time to read a lot. Obviously, like Sunday will be family time, but I'm thinking about doing another vlog like Saturday maybe. So I'm probably only gonna do one more book for this just in case I do decide to do that one. So we'll pick our final book from the wrapped ones. That is book 37. Well, that looks like a short one, so perfect. Book 37. And this is I Like Me Better by Susan Renee. Okay, so this looks like Rivals to Lovers. It's, the back's from the man's point of view, which is how the last book was as well. These two people who were, I guess, like college nemesis, and the girl, like, mysteriously didn't turn up for senior year, and when he goes to help stabilize his family's bakery business when he's on a leave from his job, she's the new manager of the store. So I don't want to say second chance romance because it's not, it doesn't seem like they were like romantically involved earlier, but it's definitely like, I think, going to be a rivals to lovers. So enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers, always a great trope in my opinion. So not a fan of this cover, but that's fine. Hopefully the book is, again, just a nice palette cleanser, which will be great considering the next vlog. Actually, the next 2 reading vlogs that I want to film. So I will get started on this tonight, and I'll probably just report back tomorrow. Okay, so update, it is Friday morning. I'm just under 50% of the way through this book. And considering the cover, it's actually a lot more of a slow burn than I thought because we're halfway through and we're still like developing the relationship between the characters. So we have Beckham and Hadley, who grew up in the same small town but went to different like middle school, high schools because there were 2 school districts. So they met when they were in college and they were academic rivals for the first 3 years of college, and then she didn't come back for their senior year. Now she's running his family's bakery in the town they grew up in while he's like an accountant, I think, in Chicago, and he comes back to town to help get the bakery situated after his father died. So they're trying to figure out like, should they sell, should they keep, what kind of financial situation it's in, and then finds out she's running it. And then slowly things come to light about like why she left school, what's going on in her life now, like why she has that job and she didn't finish school and go into accounting and everything. So, and there's definitely the attraction that's been there. The attraction was there when they were in college. It's still there now, and they both have like recognized that, but that's kind of just where we are now. So I am enjoying this one. It's deeper than Runaway Love was. That was definitely just more smutty, which is fine. So this is just diving more into the relationships a little deeper, and I assume at some point it's going to get spicier. It doesn't have to, but considering the books I've gotten from the romance reveal box, I would be surprised if it didn't. So should be able to finish this pretty quickly today. I have a few things to do this morning, so I'm hoping to be back around early afternoon, and I'll get to this, and then this will be the last book for this vlog because I'm going to start another one that will come out obviously after this one later today. So I'm done with I Like Me Better. Didn't knock my socks off, but it was really cute. It was definitely more emotional than I thought it was going to be, especially the ending. There was a good chunk of like 100 pages in there that was a lot of spice. It wasn't too bad, but I also don't think it was like necessary to the story. I actually liked the more emotional aspects of their conversations and like dealing with the families and things that were going on with that. I liked that more. But A solid 3-star romance for me, nothing that knocked my socks off, but I also wouldn't say like don't read it. I'm actually kind of interested. I think this is the first in a series, and I am kind of interested in what's gonna happen with, I assume, the other 3 brothers, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to get these books, but maybe like if I can find them on Kindle Unlimited, I might read them. So really cute, 3 stars. So these are the 3 books I read in this vlog. We had Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney, Rogue Justice by Stacey Abrams, I Like Me Better by Susan Renee, and Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. So these were both around a 3 to 5, 3.5, and these were both 3-star reads, so not the best vlog, I think. I think the last one I had almost like 2 5-stars in that I did, so perfectly average, great books. I would recommend all of them. They're just not my favorites. So that's all I have for this vlog. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.